What's up, snow lovers? Winter made a brief return this weekend, with significant snowfalls seen by many. The focal point of this was the Gran Paradiso region and, in particular, the Monte Rosa Massif on the border of Italy and Switzerland. The small resort town of Macugnaga, on the eastern slopes of the Monte Rosa, has reported the biggest snowfall totals, with 148 centimetres of snow falling all the way down to the resort at 1300 metres elevation. More widely across the region, the other Monte Rosa ski resorts such as Alagna and Champoluc also saw in excess of a metre of snowfall down at resort level, and parts of Italy saw significant snowfalls as low as 800 metres elevation, with around half a metre of snow recorded in some lower areas. And we even saw lying snowfall as low as 400 metres elevation, which is quite impressive for this late in the season. More widely, across the Western Alps, we saw moderate snowfall totals on the Saturday, with around 30 centimetres of snow falling at mid-mountain levels, so around 1800 metres in the French Alps, more so on the Italian side of the margin. The Eastern Alps received far less snowfall from this particular storm, with only a few centimetres of snow making it as far east as the Zalmsee region in Austria on the Sunday, but they in turn saw more significant snowfall on Monday and Tuesday this week, with around 30 centimetres of snow up on the high mountains, and a covering of snow back down to resort level again in Zalmsee and Kaprun. Freezing levels very briefly plummeted as the storm moved through, with well below average temperatures seen across the Alps over the weekend, but they very quickly rose again through the early part of this week. Temperatures didn't rise quite as far as I was predicting last week. The position of the high pressure meant that rather than a southerly or southeasterly wind, we had more of a northeasterly wind, so temperatures were only slightly above average rather than the extreme heat that we saw a couple of weeks ago, and they have since returned to around about average now. So currently freezing levels across the Alps are sitting at around about 1800 to 2000 metres, which is pretty much what we'd expect to be seeing at this time of year. So in the sun and out of the wind, it does feel incredibly pleasant, but if you are out of the sun, it still feels quite chilly, especially first thing in the morning. So in other words, very much spring temperatures in the Alps. Not surprisingly, with the fresh snow, we have seen an increase in avalanche activity once again, with many parts of Italy in particular, the official avalanche risk going back up to a 4, and in regions around the Monte Rosa Massif, on the Swiss-Italian border, it briefly went up to a 5, so again, that's extreme avalanche risk. It has since reduced back down to a 3 across many parts of the Alps, but remember, 3 is not average, 3 is still considerable risk. And we have unfortunately seen at least 2 new fatalities over the weekend, and I really wouldn't be surprised that number increases further over the coming days. We are now back under the influence of high pressure once again, with mostly fine weather throughout the rest of this week. We are expecting some light snowfall or rain over the weekend, with some weak weather fronts passing across the Alps, but nothing particularly meaningful. The snowfall totals have been going down day on day as this forecasted snow has got closer. And it won't affect everywhere, some areas will miss out completely. And temperatures will remain around about average, at least until the middle of next week, where currently there are signs that we may see some more significant snowfalls in particularly the northern eastern Alps, as we switch from more northeasterly airflow to a northwesterly with some proper cold air coming down from the Arctic, but that's still a long way off, and the details will inevitably change before then. But at the very least, there is the possibility of some significant snowfalls in parts of the Eastern Alps throughout the middle of next week. With all the main school holidays long since over, this is now an incredibly quiet time to be skiing in the Alps, before the final last hurrah of the Easter holidays, which come in a couple of weeks. And for many smaller and lower resorts, they're increasingly starting to wind down their operations for the season now. Indeed, some won't even make it as far as the Easter holidays. Most bigger and higher resorts you can expect to stay open until at least mid-April, some even as far as May, but it's definitely worth checking if you are thinking of heading to a smaller or lower resort that is actually still going to be open, as some won't even make it into April this year. And Easter Monday, being the 6th of April, you can expect that a lot of mid-altitude resorts will be aiming to close after that. And now for a quick whiz round of the snow depths, and Zalmsee have an upper base of 84 centimetres, but the resort runs are now broken, so there's effectively zero snow down at resort level. They received around 10 centimetres of snow this Tuesday, but as I've already mentioned, the glacier up on Kitzsteinhorn received at least 30 centimetres of snow, and they are not expecting any meaningful snow this week. Indeed, any precipitation which does fall is likely to be falling of rain, at least at a mid-mountain elevation downwards. St Anton have an upper base depth of 280 centimetres and a lower base of 110 centimetres. They received around 5 or 6 centimetres of snow this week on Tuesday, and they're expecting light to moderate snowfall over the weekend as well above mid-mountain. Bormio has an upper base of 100 centimetres and a lower base of 35 centimetres. They received around 16 centimetres of snow last weekend on Sunday, and expecting again some light to moderate snowfall this coming weekend. Makugnaga, which I'm almost certainly pronouncing wrong, the epicentre of last weekend's snowfall, officially have an upper base of 130 centimetres and a lower base of 100 centimetres. But as I've already mentioned, they received significant snowfall last weekend, with 87 centimetres of snow on Sunday, and another 50 centimetres plus on the Saturday as well. And they're expecting yet more snow this coming weekend, with at least 10 to 15 centimetres of snow. So it's looking like a very healthy late season period of snow for them over there. And on the Swiss side of the Monte Rosa, Sassamalgo have got an upper base depth of 220 centimetres, a lower base of 70 centimetres. They also received significant snowfall last weekend, with 70 centimetres on Sunday alone, more than that on Saturday as well. And they're expecting another light dusting of snow this coming weekend as well. And in northern Switzerland, Engelberg had an upper base of 212 centimetres, but they're currently reporting no base on the lower runs. They've got no snow down to resort now. They received around 20 centimetres of snow last Sunday, and they might get a light dusting of snow this coming weekend, although it may well be next to nothing. In France, Maribel and the Trois-Vallées have an upper base of 265 centimetres, a lower base of 200 centimetres. They received around 30 centimetres of snow last weekend, and expecting another light to moderate snowfall this coming weekend. And Sainte-Foy in the Tarentaise have an upper base of 200 centimetres, a lower base of 105 centimetres, and they received around 40 centimetres of snow last weekend, and expecting another 10 to 15 centimetres of snow this weekend. And finally, Isola 2000 in the Alps Maritime have an upper base of 200 centimetres, a lower base of 160 centimetres. They received around 30 to 40 centimetres of snow last weekend, and expecting another light to moderate snowfall this coming weekend as well. So that's just about it from another week in the Alps. Thanks as always to the team at Snow Camps Europe for their contributions this week. If you're interested in a more detailed snow report from that part of Austria, I highly recommend you check out their channel. And a number of you have been asking about conditions in the Via Lattea, so I'll direct you again across to the team at Celsi Online. Check out their weekly snow reports there. You'll find much more detail there than what I'll give in this report here. If you've made it this far, then thanks very much for watching. I hope you receive value in this content. And if you do, then please don't forget to like and subscribe. It will massively help out the channel and help me inch ever closer to that goal of reaching 10,000 subscribers by the end of the season. And thanks to all of you who have already subscribed so far. I plan to keep bringing you these midweek snow reports until at least the end of April. There's still plenty of life left in this season, and you've still got a lot left to look forward to. And depending on how the end of the season goes, I may well continue them into May as well, as there's still plenty of skiing to be had in May. So we'll just have to wait and see, but for now at least, tune in again next week.